everybody wants results and they want them now, right? So with a dog, especially a really high drive dog, you're not going to kill its drive by putting on some good obedience, by putting on structure. I'm not saying you have to drill obedience by any means. I do not do that. I do not have time to do that. But when I have a really high drive puppy, it's really important to put a foundation on them, proper foundation, make sure they understand the foundation, baby steps, building blocks before you start trying to get it to tracks or start trying to do vertical. I mean, there's things like just properly teaching them how to stand. You never guess how many people come to me for lessons. They want their dog to do better in EV, but their dog's just sitting there barking, slobbering, and it doesn't even know how to stand with its head up. So how do you expect this dog to stride right and be able to grab a vertical bumper with its legs crooked, leaning forward? It's going to unload on its front end. Its back end's going to fall apart. So you really, really have to put the proper foundation.
Welcome, everybody. So I'm Leanne Shinton from Automation Dogs. Welcome to my podcast. And we commonly speak with folks who can help other dog trainers like ourselves. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Crystal McClaran from Bow Nose Dog Training. And welcome, Crystal.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here. I've been trying to get you on forever.
Oh.
I've known Crystal for a very long time. We've competed together. I've been out to her place in Cape Coral, Florida. Competed all over the U.S. with you.
Yeah.
But there was something I wanted to jump right into. You got flown out by, I think, Doc Dogs out to Italy to help train their dock diving team. So, like, at what point did you realize that your life is just completely ridiculous in the best possible way? Because that is amazing.
It was super amazing, and it was actually Vale, who owns Doc Dogs Italy. She actually flew me out and let me bring a friend who's really good with translation and just taking videos and stuff, Tim Lake, which many people know him. And yeah, it was such a blessing and a compliment. And, Vale and I have become great friends since then. She has amazing facility. Her students are amazing. They are very serious there about any kind of training. They take you seriously. They listen. They follow directions. It was really, really nice.
That's cool. So
Yeah, it was cool.
what can you share about maybe the different dogs that were like, was there more of certain breeds? Were the dogs better behaved?
So the big difference, I think, in their dogs and ours is her facility is kind of like in a suburb of Rome. So it's a pretty congested area. The dogs don't like ever get to run, I don't think, except for on the dock. They don't, maybe in a small backyard. So it was really unique situation just teaching the dogs how to run, down the dock. They are not the best behaved dogs, no, but socially they put our dogs to shame. So obedience wise, not as much, but socially, it's such a different environment over in Europe that I was shocked at how many dogs can just be together, get along. You always have your exceptions. There were a lot of labs, a lot of turves. We had some mixes, just some random mixes. But I was shocked at how many labs. I had no idea how big labs are over there. And their labs are huge, like really big. Athletic, very nice dogs. Yeah. So that was really interesting to me. They had some collie mixes, purebred border collies. There were a couple little Italian dogs that I don't even honestly know how to say the name, but they're like a medium-sized dog, really cute game little dogs. But yeah, a lot of labs.
That's interesting. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the last time I saw you, but I was in Florida and you took me to, was it your aunt's restaurant, the Lobster Lady, which was
Yes, Lobster
delicious.
Lady. It's so
So
good. Everybody who comes here, like, that's a staple.
I know you like good food. What was something from Italy that you were like surprised by or you loved food wise?
So hopefully Vale doesn't watch this. I did not like the food in Italy at all. I'll be
Really?
honest. I didn't like it. And they have a problem with ice. They don't not have enough ice for me.
Oh,
I being a Florida girl, I want ice in my drinks, all of them. Um, but the one food that I really did enjoy was the focaccia. Like the focaccia, I mean,
I don't know
it's
what that
pretty much all
is.
I ate, but the focaccia, it's like a almost it's they use it for just regular appetizers and then they make pizza out of it, but it's a light,
Oh,
very
I know what you
airy,
mean.
light, thick crust, super soft. The focaccias, they do like olive oil and some parmesan on it. That was
Oh, sounds
fantastic.
good.
The rest of the food was not my favorite. I hate to say it, but their
Wow.
pasta's al dente,
Yeah.
so the pasta's like real chewy. Um, the first thing I did when I got home is went to Carrabba's, if that tells you anything.
Oh my goodness. We're
Yes,
so American.
I know. I'm so American, so American. But
Now,
um,
I wanted to ask, how did you find dock diving? Like, is there a story there?
yeah. So before I moved back to Florida, I was running really big horse farms in South Carolina for 10 years. Towards the end of my career doing that, I started horses professionally when I was 15, but I moved to South Carolina out of college, got offered a really good job there. Um, Horses are very political. My back was done, and I was already running my dog rescue and already doing dog training through my dog rescue. So I made the decision just to transfer all the way to dogs and give up horses. Um, so when I moved back, I still obviously had that competitive spirit, and I kept driving several times by the dock where Vicky used to have it. And my boyfriend at the time had a lab, and we took the lab. Said I got to try this with moonshine. Took the lab, and Bo, I think, was a year old, and he had just started swimming. So I didn't even think about him, honestly. It was all about the lab. Took the lab, and Vicky saw Bo, this tall hound dog, in the truck, and said, "Well, what about that one?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. We can try." She's like, "Does he swim?" I said, "Oh yeah, he swims. He goes to the beach. Oh well, the beach is different, you know." So took Bo up there, and I think she had a jolly ball for her lab. Then I just took him back to like 20 feet and threw the toy and the jolly ball, and he jumped like 20 feet. And Vicky's like, "Oh, wow, do that again." So quickly, Bo became the objective. The lab was good, but the lab, he was like a lawn darter. He didn't have any natural abilities, just loved the water. So very quickly we saw Bo's talents, and I became addicted to dock diving.
Wow. Well, and that's a special story for all of us in Doc Dogs because we have known him. I'm getting choked up.
Yeah,
But yeah,
the Bobo.
yeah, he was an incredible dog and it was amazing to be able to compete and be at his level with my little Malinois boy. And
Yes,
yeah,
Rex, who was
what
the
an honor.
best.
Yeah. Okay,
Rex
we
was
got to talk about
amazing. And
something else.
okay, okay.
But maybe share a little bit for folks that don't, know your dock diving history, like some of the big accomplishments that you have, because there's just so many.
There is quite a few
Yeah.
years and dedication, and I think from my horse world, I have an eye for a nice dog.
Hmm.
But with real quick back to Bo, but right when before I lost my horse, he was 23 when he passed. I kind of lost my passion along with, other issues with the horses. And I went into a feed store, and Bo was sitting there in a pen with the animal shelter, and I ran my own dog rescue. I did not need a dog, right? And for some reason, I had to have this puppy. And my friend at the time said, "What are you going to do with the hound dog?" And I said, "I don't
Yeah.
know. I'll find something for him to do." So next thing you knew, I adopted Bo. He was like 7 weeks old. We moved to Florida, and we already talked about how we started. And I think it was WISP was our first really big event. We had gone to a couple club events and one other national event, and we qualified to go to WISP when it was regionals. Back when they did regionals, and I saw Dave Skoletsky and Jaeger do
Mm-hmm.
EV, and at this time, Bo only did Big Air. And I left that event, and I think Jaeger had grabbed 8.2 or 8.4 at the event. And I said, "Vicky, we were teaching Bo extreme vertical." And she looked at me. She said, "Oh, I don't know if he'll do that." I said, "Oh, he'll do it." So, WISP was at the end of the summer, and Bo debuted in extreme vertical. I want to say in the fall, maybe January. No, because December he set a world record. So it was in the fall he did it, and then we went and competed against Dave and Jaeger at the Orlando Eukanuba event when they used to have it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Bo's first national event doing vertical, and he set the world record, the indoor world record, and then he later broke the outdoor record too. So then Bo went on. He took me on, what a ride he took me on, and I never took it for granted and rode it the whole way. He won Iron Dog
Mm-hmm.
4 years in a row. Extreme Vertical, he won it 2 or 3 times. Dueling Dogs, he won 2 or 3 times. He set, I think, 21 world records in his career between dueling and Iron Dog and Vertical.
Wow.
So he was just, you know, and it's crazy how he was a game changer, and then it's crazy how the sport evolves. So now some of my dogs that can't even win the world championships have better Iron Dog scores than Bo did, which is mind
Yeah,
blowing.
it
It's
is.
wild how it has evolved.
It has. It has.
But he'll still be the goat forever.
Yes. And
He was such a unique dog.
your other dogs are also so amazing. Rosilla, and other dogs that you've bred as
Yes,
well. So sweet, Falcor. So yeah,
Falcor,
just
yes. But after Bo, I still kept. I mean, most of my team was still all rescues. Yeah, I don't know if you remember Yayo. She
Mhm.
was a rescue. I set the big air world record with her at Worlds. That I think it was 30 feet 3 inches.
Wow.
And then kind of when I lost Bo, I decided to really do my breeding program because he passed away of degenerative myopathy, and I
Mm.
never wanted to go through that again. And I still wanted nice dogs, so that's where, and at the same time, we lost Jazz to a genetic spinal disease, who was one of my rescues that Chuck and Rebecca Grove had. And that's kind of when I decided I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it right. And these are preventable things. And I don't want anybody to have to ever go through what I went through with losing Bo. So that's how my breeding program started.
Oh, I did not know that. And that is just such an amazing, like, that you were open, you saw that, you had that vision, because that's hard work being a breeder. I mean,
It
I don't have
is
to tell you. Yeah, that's a lot.
so
And
rewarding.
you've produced such amazing dogs. And I saw that you had an announcement today, I think. And I love the names that you're always coming up with.
Did
Meet the Fockers.
try to be creative. Meet the Fockers.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
getting Sonic collected in Ohio and getting it shipped to Kansas. Jen, Olivia, and I basically were like, this is like some crazy stuff. And I was like, that's it. They're going to be the Fockers. So that's
That's
how we came
so
up with the theme because I
exciting.
was like, this is a debacle. So that's how the theme became Meet the Fockers because I was like, this is such a debacle. Like with the vets in Ohio, like they wouldn't ship to Dr. Law, who's like one of the top reproduction vets in the country. They wanted to ship to Zoetis. We didn't have time for that. It was just a
Debacle.
a cluster fockery.
But that is so exciting. Brett is always saying like, what amazing dogs you breed. Just we love the names. It's amazing what you've been doing, and that is just
Thank
really
you.
interesting. That that I don't want to go through this pain anymore of these genetic issues that the dogs are having, and
No.
you've solved that for you, and you've also solved that for other people who get your puppies. I love that.
Yes. And that's really the most rewarding part for me. Like at Bana, so many of my MC family, the people that have my puppies, were there. I think there was probably 20 of them. And we cooked out every night. We're just a big family and we all support each other. We all help each other. Um, Really cool part, and you know how big of an event Bana was, but the top 9 iron dogs were all MC dogs.
Wow.
And it's things like that that just make me happy for everybody.
Yeah, it's your family. MC, is that
Yeah.
from McClaran, or what is
McClaran.
MC?
Yeah.
Okay,
McClaran.
that makes sense.
MC
That
is
makes sense.
McClaran. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier when
It
you saw
had a better
Bo.
rhyme than yeah.
Yeah, it flows well. Now, you mentioned earlier when you saw Bo as a little baby puppy, and you just thought there's something special about him. So I know puppies, dogs, and world level dogs, athletic dogs. So when you look at a puppy,
Yeah.
what signs make you think this one might be special?
Um, for me personally, I like the more stoic puppies. And then you'll see sometimes I keep 2 out of a litter. Well, usually it's because the one is the one I wanted to keep, and the other one is the one I'm afraid to send somebody else. So I usually keep the stoic, really chill, like, lots of drive, but Bo was very stoic. He was very serious. I've always been a firm believer that, having a Malinois rescue for so long and having so many Malinois in my hands on them, you don't need a crazy dog to have drive. And people get confused with that a lot. They think that a dog acting spastic and crazy means that it's going to be higher drive and work better. And that's completely false. Um, so I like more of a serious dog that's really, you're like, this one's going to do its job well. And then usually there's one that's a little sassy or a little, you know, cuckoo that settles in a little later that I want to keep my hands on. And, I'll keep that one as well a lot of times. Sometimes I end up placing it down the road once I let it level out and put a good foundation on it. But for me, when they're little, it's not like you can look at them and go, oh, wow, that one jumped off the box. It's going to be an 8-foot vertical dog. You know what I mean? Like there's no way of knowing, but so you have to look for traits that you like personally. And I think I started my dog rescue in 2002, a long time ago. So I've adopted out hundreds and hundreds of dogs. So I've become really good at picking a dog and placing it with the appropriate family. That's kind of my favorite part too about breeding is finding that dog that matches their needs. Um,
Yeah.
but it's some people want the more energetic one. Some people, they have a dominant male or female, so you have to look at that aspect and really just match them with the lifestyle. But personally, I like the crazy one, and then I like the stoic one.
That is interesting.
And I think
Very
really
interesting.
it's what you put in is what you're going to get out of it.
Now,
I've
when
gotten
some
lucky. I would say that.
you've gotten lucky a lot of times though, so you've got to have something there. That's for
I don't
sure.
know. I don't know what it is, but I mean, honestly, I think, back to my horses, I trained at a very young age, American saddlebreds, very big money, very, very big, farm honey baked. The people that own honey baked ham were my clients.
Oh,
So we're talking horses that start like your lesson horses started at 20,000. So from a very young age, I worked with some of the best trainers in the world and developed a really good eye, and that's not
hmm.
something you can learn. It's not something you just have. You have to learn it. You have to live it. Just like dogs, to be, a true dog person, dog man or dog woman, you have to live, breathe, eat it for many, many years to actually understand how to handle every situation and what to do in situations to give proper care. So I was blessed in the horse world that gave me a really good start in the dog world to be able to have a good eye and pick out nice dogs.
That was well said. You gotta eat, sleep, yeah,
Hmm.
you've gotta really live it. You mentioned high drive dogs. What's one of the biggest mistakes people make with high drive dogs?
Um, oh, what don't they make, right? Um, I really think are we talking in pet world or are we talking in dog sport world?
I would say both. Gosh, both. Now that you mentioned pet dogs, but I was thinking sport dog world.
Okay, so for sports, like the most thing that I see um is everybody wants results and they want them now, right? So with a dog, especially a really high drive dog, you're not going to kill its drive by putting on some good obedience, by putting on structure. Um, you know, I'm not saying you have to drill obedience by any means. I do not do that. I do not have time to do that. But, when I have a really high drive puppy, it's really important to put a foundation on them, proper foundation, make sure they understand the foundation. Um, baby steps, found, building blocks before you you start trying to get it to tracks or start trying to do vertical. I mean, there's things like just properly teaching them how to stand. You would never guess how many people come to me for lessons. They want their dog to do better in EV, but their dog's just sitting there barking, slobbering, and it doesn't even know how to stand with its head up. So
Hmm.
how do you expect this dog to stride right and be able to grab a vertical bumper with its legs crooked, leaning forward? It's going to unload on its front end. Its back end's going to fall apart. Like, you're not going to be successful that way. So you really, really have to put the proper foundation. Um, Obviously, you have to give them the proper exercise. Um, but don't let the high drive. I hear it all the time with people who have labs, Malinois. Oh, my dog can't do that. It's too crazy. Dogs only do behaviors that you allow or you shape or teach. It's not complicated. So
I
I think people need
I
to give their dog more credit of what they can do and what they can't. It's what you want to do or don't want to do.
and your answer was
And
like
for
you.
pet dogs,
Oh, go ahead for pet
pet
dogs. Yes.
dogs, high drive, don't get them. Just don't get them.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's what I say to
wish.
my clients. Just don't. You don't have time for this. Just don't do it. Now there's, obviously you get dogs that are just happy. And I mean, even some of the doodles are, I wouldn't say high drive, but they're crazy, hyper. So it's really important, they take them to burn that energy, do obedience, play frisbee with them, swim them. A lot of people in Florida have pools in their house, so that's really nice. And I know a ton of my clients swim their dogs. But a true high drive dog, cattle dogs, Malinois, a working German Shepherd, um, don't get it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Just
Good
don't get it
advice. Good
unless
advice.
you're, you know,
Yeah. When you, it's like we share the same brain because when you said, it's okay for them to be calm and to be controlled. I remember with Rex, I was just dabbling in fly ball with him and just the
mm-hmm.
start, just holding him at the start and then letting him go when it was the perfect time and just really working that muscle of be calm and explode. And that
Right.
was something
Yeah.
that we got to practice that start again and again in fly ball. So then when we,
Yep.
transferred, of course, to dock diving, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool for speed retrieve. It's the same thing.
Yes.
but
Oh
it'll help
yeah, because he's
help.
gonna just go from 0 to 1,000.
Yes, and that was
But
oh
Rex was that way. He was so stoic and he stood so nicely. He let you
yes.
lean him back, and that's what you want. You don't, it's supposed to be an enjoyable, yes, it's a competition, but it has to be enjoyable, right? And I see so many people out there that they get off the dock, they're mad at their dog.
Mm.
Like if that's you, you're doing it wrong.
It's
It
interesting
should
that
not be that way.
yeah, when you say that. So Flirty, who's my perfect angel, who I love, I actually don't like
Yes.
her. Yeah, but when she's doing dock diving,
I
I
don't
don't
like
like
her.
her. I don't like her at all. And that's where I'm like, Brett, you can jump Flirt in dock diving. I don't like her to
Right.
see her
You get
like
so
that.
animated.
Yeah, she's a pain in the butt. And there was a period of time where we were competing in Mondio Ring, aiming for that world level, trying to get on the
I
US
remember.
team.
I remember.
And I pulled her from Doc Dogs
Hmm.
because I'm like, I don't want to see her like this when we're trying to accomplish this.
Right. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And of course you're always gonna have those dogs that are gonna be more animated up on the dock. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's
Hmm.
bad. But when you have a dog that's continuously dragging you up the stairs, down the stairs, won't sit, stay, grabbing the bumper out of
Yeah,
your hand, like just totally unruly, that's not fun. Like I don't find that fun. Like
agreed.
teach that
Yeah.
before you ever teach it to track, before you ever teach anything, teach your dock obedience.
Hmm.
It'll save you because then you get like, you know, unfortunately the people from NAD who have this I don't even know what to call it, but they all kind of if you ever watch the videos, and I'm not talking crap about Nat, I have no problem with it, but you've watched the videos, they all mimic each other, right? They all hold their dogs, they're all barking, they're all leaning
Mm.
forward, the handler's at the end, banging the toy on the dock, and then they just limited themselves that they can only go to that event because they go to a Doc Dogs event,
Yes.
they have nothing. Like they have no obedience, or it's a soft dog. You put it in a sit stay and its world crumbles, right? Because it's never seen it. It's a new picture that it doesn't understand. So it's just really important to be versatile. I could take my dogs wherever, it doesn't matter. And we're
Yeah,
going
that's
to look the same,
a
you know?
very good point. I like what you said too about the high drive dogs and the pet side of things. So let's talk a little bit about just dog training stuff, not doc dogs.
Oh,
What separates great dog trainers from average ones?
um, you know, we're going to go back to live, breathe, eat it, right?
Hmm.
Um, you have to, you have to physically have your hands on enough dogs, and you have to have some natural ability. Okay. You can't just go to school and in a month, not saying that's wrong, but have a dog trainer license. You still got to put 10, 15 years in to be, in my book, to be a real dog trainer, and I think it's just experience. I think it's flexibility, knowing what works for one dog, what doesn't work for another. With pet training, you've done enough of it that you might get a dog in that works for food. You might get a dog in that absolutely doesn't work for food. You might get a dog. I mean, you get every walk of life of dog, every different breed. So you just have to, be flexible, be balanced.
Hmm.
What works for one doesn't work for the other. Um, and communication with the clients, I run a very small but big business, and I pick my clients. They pick me, I pick them. If I'm not comfortable, like if I meet someone and we have an evaluation and I know our relationship isn't going to work well together, I'm very honest with them. I'm polite, but I'm like, we're not going to, this is not going to be a good relationship. We're not going to work well together. Um, and I refer them to somebody who I think they would work great to. So it's knowing that, knowing your limitations, knowing where, what I think the moment you start taking dogs because you want the money, it's a failure. You got to take the dogs you're comfortable with. I used to specialize in only aggression, like true aggression. Reactivity I do now, but I used to specialize in true aggression. And now that I'm in my 40s, I know my limitations. I'm not comfortable. It's not worth, my, like, I don't feel as stable with my back anymore. And I'm not going to do as good of a job as I used to be able to when I was younger. So I refer those to somebody else. So you really have to be honest with yourself, honest with your client, and honest with the dogs, um, and put the time in. And I think you'll be successful.
Are you good at work-life balance?
Yes,
It
I
seems
work
like
to
you
play.
are.
I
Okay.
am.
Because,
I work to play.
yeah, to see you travel to events and have a dog training business and, traveling to Italy and hitting these different events, that's hard to do when you're wearing all those
It
hats.
is hard to do. It is. But I also, and I'm not saying everybody should do this, please don't do better than me, but I live like by the sea, like I lost my dad when I was 15 unexpectedly. And my mom, it frustrated my mom so bad always. And she gets it now. Now she's like me all of a sudden. Now that she's older, she's like, I'm going to be more like you. But you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I could be dead tomorrow and I'm going to really regret it if I just spent my whole time building an empire. And what does it matter when you're dead, right? So could my business be bigger and better? Probably. Do I want it to be? No, because then that limits me more. So I try to do enough and keep it exactly how I want it, and to give me the flexibility. Always have my staff trained to do all aspects so that they can all pitch in when I'm gone. I usually, like this last event, I had to fly a girl in from up north just to come watch the house. Does that mean I'm loaded? No, it means I make enough money to do what I want. And then you come home, work your butt off for 3, 4 weeks, or maybe 5 months or 4 months. And, so I'm not the best business model, but I think I have a good life and I love it. And that's my choice. I don't have kids, I don't have a husband. So if I die tomorrow, all my dogs have places to go. And who cares, right? I don't care if my empire crashes. I mean, I love my job, but I also love to do, you know, things with my dogs. And I think it's really important. You have to have a balance. You can't just work, 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 work. You know, I think I do best when I'm here for like 6, 7 weeks and I'm gone for a week or two. I come back, I feel refreshed,
Wow.
rebooted. And I think it's really important for people to do that.
And you live by the ocean. So are you able to take mini breaks and just chill out because the ocean is so relaxing?
It is, but my relaxing place is my I don't we didn't go to my parents' house when you were here, did we? Next time.
No.
But my parents have a beautiful house, and it's an old Florida house, nothing glamorous. They've just done it really well, and it's on a direct access canal. So when you're at their house, you can see down this canal and then it tees and see, every which way. There's really nice houses, beautiful landscaping, palm trees, coconut palms. They have a gorgeous pool back there. Like that is heaven for me.
Hmm.
Um, I love the beach, but that is like my solitude. Just sit there. Dad makes you some drinks, cooks you some ribs or whatever we're eating. And you just sit out there and it's so relaxing. You watch the sunset. That's, here locally, that's kind of my happy place.
I would have trouble
But the
just
beach is great.
relaxing. I'm like, I would need to be on the beach, but maybe that environment I could relax, but I always I'm bored. I'm
You would.
bored.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I'm there for like 2 hours. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, relaxation over. Now back to home to let dogs out.
Yes, that's the life.
That's all I
Now,
do all day, every day.
yeah. Now, you mentioned having boundaries with certain clients that might not be the right fit for you. You might not be the right fit for them. Could you elaborate a little bit more on maybe some of those pieces or what you might say if you don't want to take on that client?
So you've known me well enough. Some people know me watching, some people don't. I am a very direct person. That's just who I am. I really have a hard time sugarcoating things. I've gotten much better with age. I'm brutally honest. And it's for the love of the dog. It's not because I'm being mean or rude, and I'm not rude, but I am very direct. So, you get those clients that they come in, they know everything, they're talking over you. Um, and you can just tell, like, there's no way they're gonna listen. There's no way they're gonna do the homework.
Mhm.
Um, and they're the people that I'm gonna put a lot of work into this dog. They're gonna go home, do nothing, and then throw it back on me. Um,
Mhm.
and you don't want that. That's just bad business for everybody. So generally I'm polite and just say, thanks so much for coming in. I don't think that um I never say the dog. I just say, I don't think that you're the best fit for my facility. I would love to refer you to some other people that I think you would work really well with. In a story. And usually they're like, oh, okay, thanks so much. They're kind of shocked that they just take the referrals and go. There's other instances, and like I said, it's always about the dog, but there's other instances where you get a dog and, all the training's done here at my facility. We do group class. And we'll do private sessions once they've gone through one of our programs, but I don't have time to be running around town all day. So everything's done here. And you get a dog that comes in that's super high anxiety, fearful, and you're just like, this dog is not going to thrive here.
Mm.
And I'm not going to make that dog suffer because I want a paycheck. Like, so absolutely not. So you always have to keep that, that doesn't benefit anybody. Um, and I'll be honest with them. And then, I just did a really cool eval the Saturday that a dog came and I could hear this dog in my driveway from inside the house. And I go out there in this pit bull and he's sweet as can be. I mean, he is tongue hanging down, just barking, 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 bark. And I'm like, how old is he? And they're like 4, no, 5. I'm like, has he always
Mm.
been like this? They're like, yes. And I'm like, oh my, like so much anxiety. Um, but happy, thank God. I mean, he doesn't have a mean bone in him. He almost presents himself that way, but he doesn't. But it was so sad to see this dog with carrying so much, anxiety, and he's on a flat collar. Every time they try to pull him one way, he's flipping, backwards, and he knows how to pull them the other way. And he's just a hot mess. Um, Pitties are kind of a soft spot for me. That's what I started my rescue with, was all pit bulls. And I said, I think we can do that. I think we can do something with this dog. So they're going to do a board and train, but I want them to bring him for several weeks for daycare to get him acclimated. Cause I'm like afraid this dog is going to have a heart attack. He gets so worked up. So we're going to do some meds, daycare, slow acclimation until I feel comfortable with him being able. And they said once the newness is worn off, he usually settles. So I want to get him to that point before I just book him in for 3 weeks. So it's just really important, I think, to always, make sure you're doing the right thing for the dog and the client.
Well said to all of that. And yeah, that's interesting to just be so direct. Like, I don't think we're the right fit. Here's some referrals. And yeah, they
Yeah.
don't dig further. Like, what do you mean we're not the right fit? Or do
Mm-mm.
they just take the referrals and go, huh?
No, I mean, one lady, yeah, usually they're just like, thanks so much. And, usually it's good. Like, I think I'm so directed that's like, okay.
Interesting. Interesting.
I mean, I know that's not everybody's style and I don't recommend it, but it works for me.
Well, it probably, I mean, sometimes, if, it would be worse if we took the dog on, took the client on, and then it's not working for
Right.
anybody. So having
Right.
having that as part of that, toolbox in business to make sure you protect yourself and your staff from the wrong client is really important.
Right. Yep. Always. And always, I don't care what, I've learned the hard way. If you do boarding, don't ever do boarding without an evaluation,
Mm,
because it'll be that one dog that they're on a cruise ship or just got on a plane that you went back to let out and won't let you let it out.
mm-hmm,
So anybody's new starting a business, anything, always do the eval. Keep the dog for the day. Make sure your staff, back when I was just running the business mostly by myself, no big deal because I'm handling it, but I don't work the kennel anymore. I have staff that does that. So I need to make sure my staff is safe.
mm-hmm. Yes. And we
Always
actually,
make sure your staff is safe.
yes, take care of the dogs, take care of your staff. So important.
Mhm.
Um, and I think one thing we're not taught as dog trainers when we go through dog trainer school, for example, is what to do if shit happens. And that's one of the things
Right.
that I like to talk to other dog trainers who've maybe been through some stuff and they've come out the other side so they can share things to help other newer dog trainers so they may be able to avoid some of the pain. One is we have our sales club for dog trainers, sales and system club for dog trainers. And I have a special
Right.
guest coming on, and she specializes in lost pets and finding them, preventing it, and
Okay.
just yeah, she's amazing at it. I mean, who's if a dog jumps your fence, who's going to put up flyers?
Right.
Who has a drone? Because there's things that you
Right.
can have in place
Right.
because others have been through it.
There's some amazing local people here that I know through rescue that have a whole operation. We've never had to use it, thank goodness, but um that's really important. That's something most people wouldn't think about, but it's really important.
Yeah, you want to have a process. You want to have
Mm-hmm.
SOPs for anything, whether it's a big
Right.
storm comes through. Like, in California, we
Yep.
would have an evacuation plan. I'm sure you do with the hurricanes there in
Mhm.
Florida.
Storm, fire. I have a fire when I leave. I have This is what you do if there's a fire. This is how you unload the dogs. This is where you put the dogs. This is what we do. Um,
Yes.
Same thing if I go on a trip and I die. It's literally saved on my computer if Crystal dies. I have a will too, but I have a will too, but just for a quick reference guide in case it changed a little bit, this is it. No, you have to be prepared.
Yes. Yes. My friend
For it.
Bree,
Fire's the one that scares me.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, my friend Bree, I'm here helping her with her facility, and she's like, "Yeah, if anything ever happens to me, the rule is give Leanne the purple binder, and it's all there
Yes,
in that purple
yes. I
binder."
have those friends too. Yep.
But yeah,
I have those friends too that they all know where it's saved and it's like this is what you do.
yes, yes. So let me just
Because it's
shift
important.
to
I mean, you don't think about it. Yep, go ahead. And so you don't think about it though when you have multiple dogs, like if you kick it tomorrow, like where did they go? So you just everybody, if you have more than two dogs, or even if you have two dogs, but if you have a lot of dogs like me, you have to have a plan.
yes, yes. I'm a planner, so that yep, I don't fly by the seat of my
Mhm.
pants. I'm a planner, so I love that.
I do in life, but not with real stuff. I do in life, but not the real stuff.
Now, you mentioned just some fun questions, kind of lightning round. So you mentioned that if pitties have a special place in your heart. Bo is kind of like a hound doggy kind of guy. Who knows?
Hound and Doberman. Yep.
He was a
He was Hound
tall,
and Doberman.
leggy thing.
Yeah.
Uh, I know as dog trainers, we're always changing our mind on our favorite breed, but what's your favorite breed?
A whippersnapper, duh.
Uh,
Oh, I'm really for where I'm at now in my life, I love the lurchers. I really
mhm.
love them. A well-bred lurcher. They're just easy to handle, keep the intelligence. But originally, I'm always a pit bull girl. I've always been a pit bull girl. Um, Most people don't even understand what a real pit bull is. You should not own a real pit bull unless you're a professional. Um, but they are my heart. In South Carolina, I rescued, rehabilitated, trained, and adopted out over 250 of them when I was in my 20s.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was pretty insane. But love them. I just lost Meatball, who was 15. He was the last of, no, I shouldn't say the last of my pitties, but the last of my OGs. I still have Tarantino. He just turned 7. He's loved me some Tarantino, but he will, in pitbull fashion, they are not trustworthy with dogs a lot of the times, and you have to understand the breed, what you have, and not put, you have to be very careful. But they are definitely, they give a different kind of love.
Yes. And yeah, maybe elaborate a little bit when you say like most people shouldn't, I think, have like a real pit bull. Like, are you talking like a game type pit bull?
Yeah, like a real American. I mean, all real American Pit Bull Terriers should be game bred, right? But there's
Mm,
always the exception, like our Malinois. We have our really well bred, nice Malinois for work, and then you have the people in Miami that are breeding Malinois to get Malinois. And some of those are not going to have the drive. They could be duds, they could be soft, they could be scared, they could be aggressive. You get such a variety. Um, so real American Pit Bull Terriers, I mean, they're bred to to fight. They're bred to hog hunt. They're bred for certain jobs depending on where they come from. So they're not a dog like Tarantino. He's great. Like, he's well trained. I can take him in public. Dogs can come by. He's not reactive, and that's the part about a pit bull that people don't understand is, well, it doesn't look aggressive. Its tail's wagging. It doesn't act aggressive. Just trust me.
yeah.
They are the definitely FO, fuck around and find out kind of dog. Um, but Tino's great. But if a dog comes up, I mean, it could happen in a split second. He's going to be there perfect. But if a dog comes up, hits him the right way, goes after him, game on. Like, he's not even going to think about it. He's going to take action. If my head's turned, or, he's good. If I just yell or all my dogs, you say, and they're like, but if you don't catch that split second, it could be a problem. And people, um, that don't know how to put that control on a dog, or have that control, or what they're dealing with, that aren't willing to separate them and go, like
Mm,
me, like Tarantino can go out with my Greyhound, my Catahoula. He was raised with them. They're both females. They sunbathe together. They love each other, right? I'm not turning him out with other dogs that he doesn't know. It's just not worth it.
yeah.
But the dogs he
Yeah.
was raised with, under supervision, it's just, they're good until they're not.
Hmm.
That's who they are.
Agree. Yep. 100% agree.
But they will always love you. But they will always love you. I've never ever in my life been bitten by a pit bull.
Knock on wood. That's good. Um, Now I'm talking about this breed or that breed, and it made me think about Rosilla, and not from a breed perspective, but from a female versus male perspective. Because when just like in humans, like the males can be genetically superior and jump higher, run faster. So Rosilla, I mean, how did you know when she was a little puppy? You're like, this is the one.
We always, from the beginning, in the litter, Rosilla was just a brute. And we were like, she's a man. From the beginning, it's like, she's a boy. This dog's not a girl. Like, her whole temperament, just everything about her was like, very tomboy.
Cute.
Um, and um, she would, when you pet her as a puppy, she would just growl and fuss. But it's just how she is. Like, she's not being aggressive. It's just, she talks. She'll put her teeth on you, and when you get her excited. But that's just who she is. So when everybody was meeting the puppies, and I pair them, I don't let people pick their puppies, but every single person in that litter, except for Melissa, said any of them but Rosilla. Her name was Rose, because it was Rose Heart, I think is what it was. But any of the puppies but Rose. And I was like, okay. And then as she was getting a little older, 6, 7 weeks, she was getting more leg. And I was like, I'm not heartbroken that absolutely nobody wants her. That's a easier reason to tell my mom I'm keeping 4 out of this litter. Poncho, Pearl, Rosilla, Sally. So, I mean, it was my first like big breeding, right? So yes, I kept 4. And but then Melissa came, and it was between Falcor and Rosilla, and she thinks that she chose Falcor, but I had a really like good plan about manipulating her to pick Falcor because I wanted Rosilla to stay. But still to this day, and every time I'm like, girl, you didn't have a choice. And she's like, I did have a choice. And I'm like, okay. Falcor was hers, Rosilla was mine.
Wow.
But
So
yeah, Zill's definitely a boy. She's a boy.
she was just a little firecracker, and everybody's like, I don't want, that's too much dog for
Oh
me.
yeah, no, I mean, she would come right over to you, and then you'd pet her, and she'd be like, rah, 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 rah. Like start biting
Wow.
them, and not mean, but like,
A
and
lot
she's
of
still
dog.
that way. Like when I rub her neck, she just is snapping off at me, but it's all out of love. But everybody who meets her at first is like, "Ooh, she's intimidating," and I'm like, "She's ridiculous. This is nothing. Like this means nothing. It's all talk."
I've never seen that
She's
about her.
funny, and you've seen
I
her,
know
and well,
I've
you've
just
seen
been
her in
around
line.
her.
She's a maniac.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, that's true.
she's love.
Falcor is just such a sweet boy. He's such a sweet boy.
He is. He is just a sweetie, and that's how my Poncho is. But
Uh,
Poncho was the one in the litter that from the day he was born, I don't know what it was. I was like, give me. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if I could live without the puppy in my life.
he is a very
And
special boy.
he is my best friend. I love that
Oh,
dog.
all right.
I
So
love them
what?
all, but they're.
Yes, I do. I do. Yeah, some are just. Yeah, I get it. So one
Yeah.
last question, and this is lightning round question.
Okay.
If Jurassic Park were a real park, would you go?
Would I go?
Yes.
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
You'd be out
I
there
would love to go to Jurassic.
clicker training a velociraptor,
Um,
I'm sure.
no, no, I'd probably try to wear camo and be a little discreet about it. I'd be an observer,
Probably
more of an
smart.
observer, not a participant,
Awesome.
for sure.
So, Crystal, could you share your website? How could people could reach out to you if they want to learn more? Maybe reach out to you through Facebook if they want to learn about your puppies or your dog training.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's bo dash nose nose .com is the website. There has the email on it, and the office phone number, every way you can get a hold of me. On Facebook, it's Crystal McClaran Bo Nose, which is funny. I actually did that on accident when I long like 7 years ago. I was trying to put like Crystal McClaren, and then I thought you could put an inner and put Bo Nose so people could associate, and it just changed my name to Crystal McClaren Bo Nose, and it just stayed that way. It just worked. That way, for my breeding group, it's MC Lurchers. So it's MC apostrophe S Lurchers on Facebook. It's a private group. Answer the questions, and maybe I'll let you in. Maybe I won't. That's the way it goes. Um, and yeah, and even I do doc lessons here. I don't really do any seminars. I don't think that they're really beneficial. For like more of a hands-on approach when teaching dock, but anybody who's really serious about dock diving, wants some great expert advice, recommend coming down. Usually people come down for a week to 2 weeks. They make a vacation out of it. And I have lots of lesson dogs that I teach with for dock diving so that we don't waste your dog. Really cool experience. So if anybody's really serious about becoming the best dock diving handler they can, you can hit me up.
Awesome. And I have been to your facility. It is beautiful. And yeah,
Thank you.
that just, I didn't realize you did that. And what a great way for people to vacation with their dog. And you're
Yeah.
so close to the, you pointed us in the right direction to find the ocean and go
Yes.
for lunch and, the Lobster Lady restaurant and all that. So what a smart
Mhm.
vacation
There's
that
a
would
lot of
be for
good stuff.
folks. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of
Love
people
it.
do it. A lot of people. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Super. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Crystal. It was a
You're
lot of
so
fun.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. Again, to visit Crystal's website, it's bow nose, NOSE
Yep.
.com, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And thanks again, Crystal.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks.